Hello and welcome to day 4. Today we're going to conquer one of the most notorious songwriting blocks of all, lyrics. Are you someone who often gets stuck on lyrics? I know I am. There is no doubt that lyric writing has its challenges, but it's also super rewarding. Rest assured that by the end of today's lesson, you're going to have not one, but 2 powerful formulas to make lyric writing much easier. Number 1. The 3-sentence story. One of the main reasons people get stuck writing lyrics is because they don't know what they want to say. They start writing, and by the second verse, they have no idea where to go next. The best way to get over this block is by planning what you want to say in each verse before you get started writing your lyrics. Make sense? There are lots of ways to do this, but today I'm going to tell you my favourite. You know the song Imagine by John Lennon? Of course you do, it's only one of the most famous songs in history. Well, we're going to borrow what John Lennon did here and use it for ourselves. If you look closely at the verses to Imagine, you'll notice they all start with a similar line. Verse 1, imagine there's no heaven. Verse 2, imagine there's no countries. Verse 3, imagine no possessions. Can you see a pattern here? Each line starts with the words imagine there's no and ends with a different subject, i.e. heaven, countries, possessions. You can borrow this formula to write your own songs. Simply start each verse with the same line and change a word each time. This is not only a super quick way to start writing each of your verses, but it also creates this beautiful repetition element which will tie the whole song together. For example, I could write a song where each of the verses start with the line, when I was a kid, I wanted to be. And then the thing that I'd want to be would change each time. So you could have verse 1 start with the line, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. Verse 2, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor. Verse 3, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a mum. Now all that's left to do is to explore each of those different subjects in each verse. So the first verse could be about the hopes and dreams of a child. They are inspired by dreaming big and becoming an astronaut. In verse 2, they might have hurt themselves or got sick and a doctor made them better. So now they want to grow up to help people, just like a doctor. In verse 3, they could realise that their mum is the real hero, and when they grow up, they want to be just like her. See how easy that was? Now I've got a plan for my lyrics, it's going to be much easier to start writing the details. Let's try another example. Verse 1 could start with the line, everybody's hurting. Verse 2, everybody's hoping. Verse 3, everybody's waiting. In this example, each verse starts with the word everybody's, and the subject changes each time. Looking at this 3-sentence story, I can start to think about what each of these verses might say. Maybe the first verse is about everyone seeming to be going through their own battles, aka everybody's hurting. The next verse could be about everyone having their own dreams, aka everybody's dreaming. And the last verse is everybody waiting for those dreams to happen instead of taking action to make them happen, aka everybody's waiting. This is just a quick brainstorm, but do you see how quickly I've gone from having no idea what to say to knowing exactly what I want to say in each verse? It's a powerful technique. A great tip is to reserve your biggest idea for the last verse. John Lennon knows that the most difficult thing for us to imagine is having no possessions, so he leaves this till last. Before we move on, I want you to take 5 minutes to practice this technique yourself. Pause this lesson and write a 3-sentence story of your own. Pause this lesson now. How did you go? I hope you can see just how useful this technique can be. Next, I want you to use it to plan the lyrics of the song that you've been working on throughout this program. Now your song already has a melody, which means the lines you come up with for your 3-sentence story need to match that melody. So I'll show you how to do that now. Here is the melody that I've been working on for my song. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. The 3-sentence story only focuses on the first line of the verse, so we only need to worry about the part of the melody that will be our first line. So for me, that's this part. Da, 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 da. The next part is where we get creative. I need to come up with a line of lyric that fits with this melody. So to do this, I simply play through it a few times and sing some random words and phrases over the top until I find something that I like. I'll show you an example of this in a moment. Just a tip, try not to overthink this part. Just let the words come out. They don't even have to make sense. Just keep singing words until you find something you like. Tell me I knew something. I can hear you calling. I can see you falling. I could tell you something when you said I love you. I really like the line, when you said I love you. The when you said part could be the part that stays the same each time, and the what you said could be the part that changes for each verse. For example, verse 1 could start with the line, when you said I love you. Verse 2 could say, when you said I'm sorry. And verse 3 could say, when you said forever. If I look at these three sentences together, I can start piecing together a story. To me, this song sounds like it could be about cheating. So maybe the first verse is all about the wedding day, when you said I love you. Then verse 2 is about the day I found out that you cheated on me and I confronted you about it, aka when you said I'm sorry. And then finally, verse 3 could be about the fact that I can never trust you because when you said forever, that was a lie. And there I have a plan for my song lyrics. It's going to be much easier for me to start writing this song, knowing what each of these verses are going to be about. Let's try one more example before you give this a go yourself. Hold me in the morning. So that could be the first verse. Hold me in the evening. That could be the second verse. And then we want to go a level deeper for our last verse. I want it to be like when things aren't perfect, like hold me when it's difficult, hold me when you're angry, but not I don't want to use the word angry, that doesn't work, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like I want to take this to a more like a deeper level than just morning, evening. Hold me when we're hurting, maybe. Hold me in the darkness. Maybe that's kind of perfect. You've got morning, evening, darkness. I think I could run with that metaphor to tell this story. I think I'm going to go with that for now. We can always change it later. With those three sentences, I can easily start to formulate a story for my song. The first verse might be about waking up together and how nice it is when you hold me in the morning. The next verse could be about getting home from work and telling each other about our days, curling up and watching a movie together, aka hold me in the evening. The last verse, I want to take things to a deeper level. So remember how I said to keep your biggest ideas till last? So that's what I want to do with this song. To me, the line, hold me in the darkness, could be about supporting each other through difficult times. And that suddenly takes the song from being a cute love song to being a bit more real and a bit deeper. And there we go. Now I've got 2 lyric plans to choose from to help me write my 3 verses. Now it's your turn. Spend the next 10 minutes creating your own 3-sentence story for the song you've been working on. Remember, you're going to need to start by matching your line of lyric to the melody that you've already got. Pause this lesson now, and when you come back, I've got one more bonus formula that I'm going to teach you. How did you go? Did you manage to come up with a 3-sentence story? Now you have your 3 opening lines for your verses and a basic idea for the story behind your song, you can start filling out the rest of your lyrics. If you're feeling inspired to do this, then go right ahead. But if you'd like a little bit more structure to get those ideas flowing, then keep listening. Lyrics can be hard to write because there's literally so many options. In music, we only have to worry about 12 notes, but I don't even want to think about how many words there are in the English language. A great way to start narrowing down those options is to use rhyme. When I'm feeling particularly stuck on what to write in my lyrics, I start by brainstorming a few keywords that I might like to use in my lyrics. For my song, I know from my 3-sentence story that the first verse is all about waking up next to my partner in the morning. So I'll brainstorm some words like morning, bed, sunlight, cuddle, alarm, etc. I find that 5 keywords is usually a good place to start. Next, I'll use a rhyming dictionary, or I'll go to a website called rhymezone.com to find some good rhyme partners for each of these keywords. Remember, you don't have to stick to perfect rhyme. Some words, for example, morning, have very limited perfect rhymes. I can only rhyme dawning, yawning, warning, and I don't really like any of those. They might sound a bit forced. Instead, I can use what's called near rhymes. These are words that have the same vowel sounds but use different consonants. And for lyrics, these are great. Near rhymes for morning include sure thing, haunting, talking, falling, adoring, for him, etc. See loads more options. Find as many good rhyming words for each of your keywords as you can and write those down. This is what I like to call creating a rhyme bank, and it's great for getting those ideas flowing. Armed with both the 3-sentence story and the rhyme bank, you'll now be able to start each of your lyric writing sessions knowing exactly what you want to say in your song and also having a ton of useful rhyming words to inspire great lines. If you follow these steps, it's likely that you'll be so productive that writer's block won't have a chance to settle in. I know I've given you a lot today, but I just want to make sure that I've given you the best tools for getting through writer's block when it comes to lyrics. Use your remaining practice time to draft lyrics for 3 verses. Good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow to write your chorus.